Every sport has that one player that is known for their outspoken nature. In Formula One, Nelson Piquet serves as a prime example. Despite his incredible racing skills, his rude language and racial remarks have turned his own fans against him, casting a shadow over his career. Let's get to know more about it. Nelson Piquet was born on August 17, 1952, in Rio de Janeiro. His father had high hopes for him to become a tennis star. Piquet took up tennis at the age of 11 and showed promise, winning tournaments in Brazil before challenging himself against tougher competition in California. It was during this time in the United States that he learned English and matured quickly. However, tennis didn't quite fit Piquet's ambitions, so he turned to racing. At 14, he began karting, using his mother's last name, Piquet, to keep his racing identity a secret from his father, who was initially opposed to his racing pursuits. In 1974, he left engineering school and worked in a garage to fund his racing dreams, since his family did not financially support him. Back in Brazil, Piquet and his friends pooled resources to buy a kart and dominated local go-karting circuits, winning championships in 1971 and 1972. Recognizing his talent, Emerson Fittipaldi, Brazil's first Formula One champion, encouraged him to race in Europe. In 1976, Piquet excelled in the Formula Super V Championship. Piquet made a significant impact when he moved to British Formula 3 in 1978, breaking numerous records, including Jackie Stewart's for most wins in a single season. His success set the stage for his future in motorsport. His Formula One debut was stopped by a shattered engine, interrupting his promising start in the sport. Piquet kicked off his Formula One career with Inson in Germany, but his debut was cut short by an engine failure. He soon caught attention racing for BS Fabrications in 3 races, achieving his best finish of 9th place in Italy. Joining Brabham for his first full F1 season in 1979 alongside Niki Lauda proved challenging. Piquet faced crashes and retirements in many races, scoring his first points with a 4th place finish at the Dutch Grand Prix. During the Italian Grand Prix, Piquet endured a major crash at Monza's Curva Grande, where his car's rear was torn off after a clash with Regazzoni. Miraculously, Piquet emerged unscathed. Despite setbacks with crashes and unreliable engines during races, he consistently qualified in the top 5, showcasing his grid skills. In 1980, Piquet battled hard and secured 2nd place in Argentina, finishing behind Alan Jones in intense heat on a deteriorating track. Questions arose about his car's weight, with suspicions of added ballast to meet regulations. Piquet achieved his maiden victory at the United States Grand Prix West in Long Beach, California, dominating the race and crossing the finish line over 50 seconds ahead of Ricardo Patrese. His win solidified his status as a rising star in Formula One. The constant unreliability of his cars brought him more harm than benefit. In the following year, Piquet showed speed, but his car was plagued by unreliability despite Brabham teaming up with BMW for turbo engines. These engines, though powerful, often failed, forcing the car to retire from many races. Piquet managed his sole victory in the Canadian Grand Prix, marking BMW's first win in F1. He started the season strong with a win in Brazil, driving the arrow-shaped BT52. But luck turned as he retired in the United States West Grand Prix. In 1986, Piquet moved to Williams and became teammates with his longtime rival, Nigel Mansell. It was said that Honda covered most of his $3.3 million contract. When Piquet joined Williams during the 1985 Austrian Grand Prix, he didn't see Mansell as a serious competitor, because Mansell hadn't won a race yet in his 5 years in F1. Piquet underestimated Mansell, who finished 1985 strong with wins in 2 of the last 3 races. boosting his confidence. In 1987, Piquet used his political savvy and technical skills to turn things around. Despite his talent in developing the Williams car, tensions with Mansell were visible as Mansell often outpaced him. Piquet later joined Lotus but left when they chose an underdeveloped engine. He retired from Formula One in 1992 to focus on business. After retiring from racing, he started Autotrack in 1992. It's a company that uses satellites to track trucks for customers. It became a big deal because trucking in Brazil needed it. Today, Nelson Piquet is worth about $100 million. During a 2012 interview on Brazilian TV, alongside his former Williams teammate Nigel Mansell, Piquet revealed the lasting impact of his 1987 accident at Imola. He disclosed that the crash severely affected his depth perception, with around 80% loss, prompting him to secretly visit a hospital in Milan every 2 weeks throughout the season. He feared informing his team, worried they would sideline him from driving. Piquet expressed regret, feeling he could have won the 1986 championship, while Mansell could have taken 1987. After 1987, due to his condition, he admitted driving primarily for financial reasons, unable to lead races as he once did. His controversial actions caused his fans to turn away from him. On July 31, 2007, Piquet faced serious repercussions for repeated speeding and parking violations. The Brazilian courts took away his driving license and mandated that he and his wife, Viviane, attend a week of driving lessons to improve their behavior on the road. Piquet publicly admitted to local media that he needed to learn from his mistakes, acknowledging a history of receiving tickets for various infractions, including improper parking. In 1988, Piquet ignited controversy with comments published in a magazine. He insulted his rival Nigel Mansell, making disparaging remarks about Mansell's wife. Piquet also made derogatory comments about Ayrton Senna and Enzo Ferrari, suggesting Ferrari's team could benefit from younger leadership. Mansell was particularly hurt by the personal attacks on his family, finding them unjust. Piquet's remarks continued to cause uproar, including his derogatory reference to Senna in 2020. During a Brazilian podcast interview in 2021, Piquet used a term that offended some people while discussing an incident involving Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen at the British Grand Prix. When this resurfaced on social media in 2022, it sparked criticism from the Formula One community. Piquet later apologized, explaining that his remarks were not intended to be racist. But was he really sorry? Also, before I forget, subscribe if you already haven't. His use of homophobic language against Hamilton shocked everyone. Following his apology, new footage surfaced, showing Piquet using homophobic language against Hamilton in a 2016 interview. When asked about Keke Rosberg, the 1982 Formula One world champion, Piquet made disparaging remarks, calling him worthless. He also suggested that Lewis Hamilton lost the 2016 Formula One World Championship to Nico Rosberg, because Hamilton must have been distracted at that time. So things turned difficult for him. As of July 2022, Piquet has been banned from entering the F1 paddock. According to Craig Slater from Sky Sports F1, despite his apology, Piquet will not be welcomed back into Formula One for the foreseeable future. Additionally, the British Racing Drivers Club has suspended Piquet's membership and is expected to formally end his status as an honorary member after a notice period of 7 days. In March 2023, a Brazilian court ordered Piquet to pay $5 million in moral damages. Despite his greatness in racing, these controversies tarnished his reputation and caused many to turn against him. People began to view him differently because of these issues. Despite his apology, Piquet will not be welcomed back into Formula One for the foreseeable future. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to drop a comment telling us who to cover next.